Hey everyone. Folks are asking me about the programs I use to create the models for my human figure videos, and so I decided to do a quick tutorial about that. The good thing is that the programs I use are all completely free. The bad thing is that they can be somewhat difficult to learn. The two programs I use are MakeHuman and Blender. Links to download both are in the description below. The third resource I use is a website called Mixamo that has a library of animations that you can apply to any figure you create in MakeHuman. It is free to use as well. But since MakeHuman itself is a bit tricky to learn, I have created a basic male and female figure for you. They are also linked down in the description. So the first thing to do is to download the folder named Sample Files via the link in the description. This folder contains two ready-made figures, one male and one female, and a setup Blender file you will be importing your animated figure into once you have created it in Mixamo. Now go ahead and download and install MakeHuman and Blender. You only need Blender for this tutorial, but I'm guessing that after you watch this video, you'll want to take a crack at MakeHuman yourself. Okay, let's do this. First, go to Mixamo.com. Sign up for an account. It's free. Then, sign in. You will be prompted to upload a figure, so go ahead and upload the sample female figure you just downloaded, Ponytail Girl Unrigged. Once uploading is done, follow the instructions to apply the colored dots to the figure's wrists, elbows, knees, chin, and groin. Then click Next. It will take a couple of minutes, but when it is done, you will have a rigged figure ready for animation. Click Next, and then Next again to take you to the main Mixamo screen. Here you will find your figure on the right, and on the left, literally hundreds of animations you can apply to your figure simply by clicking on them. You can search through the animations using simple terms like running, dancing, or fighting. It does not matter what figure appears in the thumbnail. Any of the animations will work. For this tutorial, we'll pick the one called Hip Hop Dancing. In the right side screen, you can navigate around by clicking and dragging. Once you are happy with the animation, you simply click Download, accept the defaults, and click Download again. The animated FBX will be downloaded to your Downloads folder. Now navigate to the Sample Files folder you downloaded earlier and double-click on the file setup.blend. This will open Blender with the setup file loaded. The Blender interface might seem a bit intimidating, and it would be very helpful if you took some time at some point to familiarize yourself with it by taking a couple of beginner Blender tutorials, but you can do that later if you prefer. For now, the big window is called the 3D viewport, and the smaller window at the upper right is the outliner. There you will find a list of all the things I have put in this setup scene for you. They include two lights, a camera, a plane, and a thing called an empty. The camera is permanently pointed at the empty. In the 3D viewport, if you click on any object there, it will turn orange, meaning it is selected. You can select anything you can see there. You can deselect by clicking on the background or somewhere else where there is nothing to select. Go to File, Import, FBX, and navigate to the Downloads folder where you saved your animated FBX from Mixamo. Leave all the settings as they are and click Import. Your female figure will appear. If you press the play button at the bottom of the screen, she will dance for you. The narrow window at the bottom is called the timeline. The timeline contains controllers for playback and editing, and the playhead, which shows where in the timeline you are. If you drag the lower edge of the 3D viewport window up, you will see a series of little yellow shapes in the timeline. These are called keyframes. You can grab the blue playhead by clicking on it and holding it and move it through the timeline. This is called scrubbing. You can scrub through the timeline at will. Scrub around until you find a dynamic pose that you think will work for your sculpture. But you may notice she looks a little weird. She is outlined in red, and strange things are sticking out of her. Those weird things are called the armature, and they are what makes her move. The idea here is you want to capture this pose from several different angles to use as a reference. To do this, you'll need to rotate the figure by pressing R-Z while your cursor is in the 3D viewport. If you simply select the figure and try to rotate it, strange things happen. That's not what you want. Instead of selecting the figure, you have to select the armature. The easiest one to see is the one sticking out of the top of her head. You can tell when the armature is selected because you can see the keyframes in the timeline. Select the armature and then press RZ, and she rotates just fine. Notice that there is a square area in the center of the 3D viewport that is lighter than the rest of the area. This is the camera view. You can toggle the camera view off and on using the camera icon at the right side of the 3D viewport. To capture an image of her pose, click Render, Render Image, and Blender will render the scene. Oops! Weirdly, your figure is an odd pink color. That's not what we want. The pink color is because Blender is looking for the assigned texture and cannot find it. We don't want to use it anyway. We would rather have just a flat white or gray color so we can see the contours of the figure. Close the render window. At the upper right of the 3D viewer window, you'll see 4 spheres. The second one from the left is selected. If you select the next one to the right, that is material mode. If you select the furthest one to the right, that is render mode. Select render mode, and your figure will still be pink. To fix this, click on the figure to select it, and then go to the window that is directly below the outliner. This window is called the Properties window. Look at the icons on the left side of the Properties window. The second one from the bottom will be the Materials button. Click it to go to the Materials editor. At the top of the Materials editor, there will be a list of the materials applied to the selected object. There will be a pink dot next to the only item there. On the right side, there is a plus and a minus. Click the minus to remove the material. The figure will turn from pink to white. But the hair is still pink. No problem. Just click on the hair to select it and then remove the material the same way. Now the figure will be entirely white. Now select the armature in the 3D viewport and rotate the figure to the first position you want to capture. Click Render, Render Image, and Blender will render the scene. The problem, though, is that depending on how fast your computer is, the render might take a little time, likely at least a minute or two. Since you only need an image of the pose, there's a much faster way to do this. Close the render window to stop the render. Click the camera icon on the right side of the 3D viewport to turn off camera view. The light square in the center will disappear. Notice this little icon near the top of your screen. This icon toggles overlays. If you click it, everything in the scene except the actual objects will be hidden. You won't see the camera, lights, or armature, even though they are still there. Directly above the camera icon, on the right side of the 3D viewport, you'll see a hand and a magnifying glass. You can use these tools by clicking and dragging to move around the scene. Use these tools to center and zoom in on your figure. Now take a screenshot. In Mac, it's simply Shift-Command-4 and drag a box around your figure. The screenshot is saved automatically to your desktop. In Windows, the command is Windows key Shift-S, but the screenshot is saved to the clipboard. It then must be pasted into an image or a document to save it. Toggle overlays back on. The armatures should still be selected. Press RZ to rotate your figure to the next position you want to capture. Toggle overlays off. Screen cap the result. Repeat as many times as you want. I like to use Photoshop to combine the screenshots into a single image like this, so I can print it for a reference. So that is how I do it. These types of 3D programs are incredibly powerful and well worth the time it takes to learn them. Since they are all completely free to use, I suggest you try them out today.